Welcome to the Freedom Hustles podcast, where host John and Andy take you on a journey of liberation away from the 9-to-5 grind. Explore side hustles, remote work, and the skills to help you unlock true freedom. Brought to you by freedomskillsacademy.com, this podcast is your gateway to independence and financial empowerment.
Okay, so welcome, episode 59. How you doing, Andy? You all right?
I'm not too bad. Yourself?
Yep, I'm okay. So
Good.
tonight's episode, I always start off with tonight. I think that's because we film it. Hello, Instagram stories.
Quick photo there for social media sharing.
I always, because we film it at night, I always sort of say good evening. But
Yeah.
anyway, good day, good morning, whenever it is you listen to this. So anyway, yeah, this one, this is going to be quite an interesting discussion. You wrote in a sales letter recently for a product that we're launching soon, which I'll just read out the paragraph. That pretty much sums up what we're going to be talking about tonight, really. So it starts off saying, my time is precious and what I'll share with you will make you a lot of money. I guarantee it. So I think it's only fair that I charge. Also, when you have some money in the game, it means that you are going to do what I show you. If I tell you everything for free, it will have no value. When you pay me for my help, advice, and encouragement, you'll do what you need to do. So, I mean, yeah, you wrote that, which is, it's a brilliant little section. Do you just want to kind of elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah. So basically, when you're creating products, whether it be mentoring or just a package course, whatever it is, you're going to charge for your time. But a lot of these courses may seem expensive, but you've got to. A lot of people sort of think, "Oh, I'm not spending that." But you've got to realize the fact is that, I mean, I've actually done this. I've helped people in the past. I've given information for free to people. And they've done nothing with it whatsoever. But when they actually buy something, they become more determined and more protective. I mean, I suppose imagine if you won a car and it got smashed. Doesn't matter; it cost you nothing. But if you bought a brand new car and it got scratched, you'd be devastated because it's your hard earned. You've worked hard to get that money, and you spent it on there. And then there's always this. There's more of a determination to get it back. There's more of a determination. There's an urgency to get it back, especially if it's sort of a quite substantial amount. So when it's basically, I mean, they say it in sports, don't they? They call it skin. When you've got skin in the game, you've got a lot to lose. So when you've got a lot to lose, or when your back's up against the wall, you put the work in. And that's kind of what I was trying to get across. And it's not a case of, a lot of these products. They might seem expensive at times to some people, but that's not necessarily the point. The point a lot of the time is I remember this was an email I read a couple of weeks ago, which was also a very vital point, and that is people struggle to charge more expensive prices until they've bought an expensive product.
Yeah,
that raises your roof and your expectation. Once you're comfortable buying something like that, then you're more likely to charge that as well. But yeah, basically, it's all about. I mean, we've had it. The world is full of people wanting stuff for free, but you can give them all the best help in the world, but they won't do anything with it until they've actually got something. So they put their money into it. Then there's an urgency and a determination to get it back, and that's basically what I was just trying to say.
Yeah, no, that's a good point actually. Because let's face it, pretty much everything is available for free if you really want to go and look for it and spend ages trawling the internet and various platforms and ways in which you consume your content, you will get there in the end. It will take you a long time, but and it won't necessarily be in the right order or presented by the same person, but you could probably get there in the end, right? If you wanted to learn, a certain skill set or whatever it is you want to do, it's probably done and it's probably out there for free. But again, like you said, are you going to do anything with it? If it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. And if it was available, like if it was acted upon in the same scale that it is available for free, then again, everyone would be rich, everyone would be doing it, and it wouldn't be a problem. But the fact is, it's not. The fact is, sadly, still very, very few people actually go on and make a decent living from the internet. You will probably find, I mean, I don't know, it's difficult to measure because it depends on what actually is you're doing. But, I would imagine that, sadly, the success rate of, people that, I don't know, let's say trading, for example, they want to go and learn trading or something like that. That's known to be a very, very low success rate in people that actually go on and make it and do it. Does it make it a scam? No, it doesn't. It just means that most people probably lose motivation. They don't see instant results.
Mhm.
They give up after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever that case may be. Um, Whereas if, let's say, you've invested 3 grand in a course, right? And under the guide of that course, your mentor or your coach or whoever it is you're going to be buying that course from, they sort of outlined in the beginning, this could take 6 months, you
Mhm.
know, but, I'm going to be there. I'm going to sort of, guide you through it. We'll do a coaching call or, we'll do some form of interaction and communication. Um, and, we'll see how we go on. Then you'd kind of think, well, I've almost been held accountable now. I'm almost sort of not pressured, but you almost feel like you've got that. There's almost like a bit of responsibility now. I've got to do this because
Yeah.
I'm being expected to, not only for myself. The main reason I'm doing it for is myself, but also the person who I've bought it from. They've got an interest in me doing it because
Yeah.
it's win-win. They want the success of you, so they get a better testimonial. They get talked about. They get, it might be like an affiliate system. There might be some form of reward if you then go on and promote that product or whatever. But and then all of a sudden it's got much more value and sort of strength behind it because you've invested in it. Do you know what I mean?
You mentioned accountability there, and I quite like that idea. When you've put your own money into it, you are accountable. You
Mm.
have accountability for your money. I mean, unless you're incredibly wealthy and able to just sort of lose 2, 3, 4, 5 grand here and there everywhere, trying new things, and but most people haven't. And you've got an accountability for the money you've spent. You've got an accountability to your family, to your husband, wife, partner. If they find out you've spent 3 grand on something, you've got to make it work, and
Mm.
there's an urgency to make it work. But with free stuff, I mean, giving away stuff for free, as in getting an email name, is fine. I mean, even so, we've seen how lazy people can be when it comes to getting some. We gave something for free the other day, and we used solo ads, and it was ridiculous. But basically, it had to be a double opt-in because we'd rather have a double opt-in, so we know that people have chosen to be in it. Instead of opting in to get this free thing, they came to the website, realized they had to double opt-in, then they replied to the email instead of just clicking verify and going on to list. They actually replied to us to say no,
Which
which is
probably would
actually
have
quite
taken
funny.
more time,
It's more
which you
time to
click
do
the
that
link.
than actually click the button and unsubscribe. But that's what I mean. There's actually they wouldn't even sign up for that because it was free, even though they showed a slight interest. Free has no value. It's interesting. I mean, I'll act on free stuff because I'm determined to do stuff.
Mm.
And we have acted on free stuff because we're more sort of that way inclined. But majority of the people aren't. They'll collect free stuff, but they won't really do anything with it. But
No.
once you put some money down, once you actually buy something, then you have got skin in the game. You've got money in the game, so it has more worth and value. You've got a lot to lose, and people don't like losing money.
Mm.
They don't like losing money, and if they can try and get it back as fast as possible, then they will. And going back to what you were saying there about accountability and stuff like that, another great thing is about free stuff. You can't really expect interaction with free stuff. But let's say if you buy a mentoring program, for example,
Mm.
which has a weekly one-to-one, whether it be trading, whether it's on Betfair, whether it's internet marketing, affiliate marketing, if you're having a weekly one-to-one chat with someone face to face, they're actually also encouraging you.
Mm.
They're giving you the encouragement and they're talking through stuff. They'll give you a blueprint to follow, so you ain't got to go to YouTube and find all these resources together and try and pile it together yourself. They outline everything for you, so they save time. But I also read a quote the other day. I'm going to paraphrase it because I'm sure it's actually wrong. But basically, what it says is that people don't want advice; they want encouragement.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, when you're getting that encouragement and you've got money in the game, you're going to be more of a success in trying to work on something for free. Because I mean, it's got no value, so you'll probably give something a couple of days, a week at the most, and then you're like, "Phew, you've lost nothing."
Mm.
At least when you've got something, you've got some money in the game, and let's say, I don't know, because it varies with different prices, but let's say you got 2 grand in something, and you don't want to just walk away from 2 grand. You'll be embarrassed. You'll feel like a failure.
Yeah,
You'll be
complete waste.
so
Yeah,
much.
exactly.
There's so much on there, and you've got like, what could I spend that 2 grand on instead? You want to make it work. So there is this. I don't want to be sort of negative. I'm not going to say you are a failure if you don't do it or whatever, but there is this desire, this drive
Mm.
to make it happen. You've made that decision to spend the money, so now you've got this decision to make sure that you get it back.
And and I think you'll realign your priorities to make that one of the top ones. You know, we're all busy. Okay, anyone that works in the online world is busy. Okay, anyone that does stuff like what we do, anything like that, you're always busy because especially if you work in a day job as well. So you might do a day job, then you might be doing like a side hustle, an online side hustle, whatever. But if you've then invested in, so say for example, you've done a course or whatever it is, you've just spent even any amount, that's expensive, amount of money that's a lot of money to you. Okay, that could be 100 quid, that could be 500 quid, that could be 2 grand, whatever that monetary number is. Once you've invested that, you will make adjustments to prioritize that over other things because again, you've invested in it. Yeah, you've got to try and make that money back. That's not to put pressure on you to get it back hastily or quickly, but it doesn't matter how long it takes, but you will then follow the process. And like you say, if you're following this course, there's only it's finite amount of time that you'll be able to do that in. So there's a course, and then there'd only be like if there's a mentoring system, say there's something around like a 3 or 6 month plan. But obviously, you're going to make adjustments around that. Yeah. So another little thing I wanted to just quickly mention is quite often with, higher ticket stuff. So you'll usually find, and this goes, I'd say this is pretty much a general sort of rule of thumb with anything online, really. When you buy the more expensive stuff, let's say north of £500, right? Anything north of that, you will 9 times out of 10 find that there will be some form of interaction, albeit a one-to-one, or another thing that people like to do is they'll have some sort of community. So there'll be either a Facebook group specifically for those people that have paid that money, okay? Or there'll be like, maybe a conference like what we're doing now, like a Zoom call, but it might be like 20 people at once, okay? Because all of them people are in the same, well, they're not all in the same position. They've invested the same as you, but they could be on different parts of the journey. Okay. But this is where
Yeah.
it gets interesting. So you then have access not only to the person that you bought the course from, but you'll also probably find that you'll have access to all of them people as well in that little community. Okay. And we've talked about this before. People will spend money just to become part of a club, right? An exclusive club with other people that are doing the same thing as them, that have got the same interests, the same kind of goals and ambitions, if you like, right? That's a really
Yeah.
important one. The goals and ambitions is a really important one. There's a famous quote as well, and again, I'm going to mess it up, but it's something like, you are a product of the 5 people you hang around with, or something like that, isn't it? So you hang
Yeah, I
around with
think
like
it's
5 millionaires
yeah,
consistently and you mix with them, chances are you'll become the sixth, right? You
yeah.
hang around with 5 losers that just moan and, you know, no, nothing's working for me, and they're all negative and no, it's a waste of time. You'll go down that exact road as well. Okay. So
Mhm.
But if you're in these group with these people that are trying to achieve the same thing, everyone's encouraging each other. You're all pushing for that same goal. Um, Again, you've got that element to it. So, you know, and you've invested that money. So, it does work, and there is a reason behind it in there. You know what I mean?
Well, they say that money makes money, money begets money. Basically, what you
Mm.
spend, you sort of it it does have an effect. Like you say, I'll tell you a true story now. I was talking to a very popular UK internet marketer who was telling me a story about a guy. I'll not mention any names or too many details, but this guy used to go to his seminars and workshops, and they used to spend like several thousand pounds, dollars to go to these weekend workshops. And he'd been doing it for quite a while and not doing anything with it. And the guy sat down and says, "You don't, you've been coming here loads of times and you don't do anything with it, and I feel really bad taking your money." And he was like, "Well, you shouldn't do. So this. It's my choice. It's what I like to do.
Yeah.
My wife goes and does her things with her friends, goes out and has lunch and whatever, goes away for the weekends. This is what I do. I like to be in a room full of entrepreneurs. I want to be with like-minded people who are interested in trying new things. I like to learn new things."
Mm.
And he was paying to become, as you said, about part of that community. He liked to mix
Yep.
with all these people in the seminar, in the workshop, and talk to them and see what they're doing. And he might do stuff now and again, but he generally just paid to be part of that community. And we've seen it time and time again. And that's one of the things that is, I mean, we've talked about this before, and this should be possibly another podcast in the future. But when you're trying to do something like you're changing a career, so let's say you're working 8 to 9 hours a day in a workshop, factory, or retail or something like that, and then you're coming home, you're trying to build this business, but your partner isn't particularly understanding or isn't giving you the support, plus they don't know what's going on, it can become incredibly difficult, isolated and lonely to work on your own in this little back room trying to do stuff. So when you do join a sort of a community like a Facebook group or a Discord group or whatever, WhatsApp group around a specific niche, when you bought training or a product and you get put in there, it is incredibly encouraging and powerful. And it is like you said, when you're surrounded by all these people, in many ways, the product owner can often take a step back because a lot of them are talking. Someone will be saying like, I'm building a funnel this weekend and I'm having a problem with this page and whatever. And someone will come in and say, "Oh, I had that problem last week," and blah, blah, and they're working together and it's helping them going forward. And as the product owner as well, especially if you're charging one of the high ticket prices, you feel like these people have paid you the money. You want them to succeed. So you're willing to go and give them that extra encouragement. You're willing to give them that extra time to get there. And the fact that when you paid extra, more money than other products and courses, it's also, I mean, I remember this quote and I like this one. This is from when I was learning about freelancing, obviously. And that is, instead of getting, let's say you want $5,000 a month, instead of trying to get 10 customers paying you $500 a month or whatever, you basically find 2 customers who are willing to pay you like $2,500 or something like that. Because then you are working with different types of people, but you are also then a lot less stressed because you're not having to keep chasing these. We're doing 10 different jobs. You're just doing 2 jobs for 2 different people. And so you can create your better work. You can do better work. You're less stressed and you can over deliver. I suppose. So when you're working for people who are paying a lot more money, you haven't got as many people to deal with as well. So you can actually deliver a better service to those people. So sometimes it actually pays to pay more because you get a better service, you get a better experience than just sort of trying to spend hours trawling through YouTube and whatever, trying to find other people's free books and emails and all these, trying to gather as much information as you can, because sometimes it can just be, I won't say it's information overwhelm because you've got so much information to trawl through, and a lot of it is probably no longer useful or it's not congruent to what you're trying to do. And so your head's frazzled. At least when you're paying for something, not only, like I say, there's the urgency and the desire to get it done quicker and make sure you get a return on your investment, but it's actually, there's a lot more clarity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a couple of points on that. Like you mentioned there about some of the lower ticket stuff. I mean, we like lower ticket programs as well. Let's not, we're not completely ruling them out. We do offer, we do sell several low ticket items.
Well,
Starting
they could
from
be standalone. They don't need any form of
no, and
interaction, do
you
they?
don't need any follow up. You don't need, that's it. You literally just buy that, and you can go through it at your own pace and do whatever you like with it. I
Yeah.
mean, we've got stuff ranging from the very very cheap, a few dollars actually. There's a few dollars books like this on Amazon. We've got out now. For people listening on the pod, Soul Profits. This is a book on, simple book on how to make money flipping trainers, for example. So, we'll have books like this on Amazon, and that'll be literally it. There may be a little link in there that will point to a little bit of a higher ticket item later on, maybe. But essentially, they're sort of one-offs, aren't they? Standalone stuff. But yeah, and then and then you sort of scale it up. Once you get a bit more, I don't know. I guess it's experience, and once you've had that, I don't know, success in certain areas, then obviously you can start charging up. And we should point out, it's perfectly okay to charge whatever you want, for your time and your knowledge. Do you know what I mean? How many times have we said that as well? People, you're not necessarily buying well, if you, in terms of like the physical thing, like that example, a book, that's like, I don't know what we've got that up at, £6 or something on Amazon. Okay. Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, the guy we were speaking about the other week, Ben Sell, he charges big money, doesn't he, just with books? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's a completely different. There's a completely different end goal with that. Ours are literally that's like a standalone. Do whatever you like with it. His is more of a massive product, which then goes into like his funnel, and then you become part of his bigger, higher ticket stuff, and everything like that. And it is okay to charge whatever you want. I mean, because there's the other thing is when people are buying, you know, you've done it. You've charged like a couple of $100 for like an email or a couple of emails. I've charged a couple of $100 for 1 hour consulting before. That's fine. People, what you have to get in your head is like in the consulting example, they're not paying for 1 hour. They're paying because I've got 10, 15 years of experience, the same as you. They're not paying you literally to sit there for 40 minutes and write them a sales letter or an email. They're paying you because you know how to write an email that will convert. And that's taken you years to learn that. So that's where that comes from. Do you know what I mean? So, and
Yep.
it's perfectly okay. And it's going to get results. It's going to then go on and make them, tens of thousands. What about the SEO example? We charged the company £800 a month for SEO, and then they landed a contract for 40 grand. So it's all relative, and it doesn't, these things,
Yeah.
And another little thing we should point out quickly, which again, this is just the way of the world. And there is no way around this, and this will happen every time. I guarantee it. And that is that sometimes people just won't do anything with it. Always, that always happens. They'll buy something and they will never act on any of the information in that product. And that happens. And
Yeah.
I will hands down say this every single time. And that's just the way it is. Doesn't matter what product you release, whatever it is, it could be the best thing ever, could be the simplest thing ever, and you will still get a certain amount of people, a small percentage of people will literally buy that and do absolutely nothing with it. And those people you can't do anything with. You just got to accept that. I
Yeah.
mean, we've had people, loads of people like that, haven't we? Even businesses. We were
Absolutely.
building businesses for them. We were constructing funnels for them. We were literally mentoring them through the whole thing, and they still wouldn't act on any of it. So those people you can't really do anything about.
No, I mean, going back to what we were saying is like when you've got money in the game, when you've got skin in the game, there is this desire, this urgency to get it back. For most people,
Yeah.
there is definitely a small amount of people who, for some reason, again, depends on how they perceive the product in the first place or whatever process they went through buying it. I mean, I must admit, I do quite like Ben Settle's form of sales page where you qualify or disqualify certain people, which basically says like there is going to be no refund, and if you don't do anything, it's your fault, so to speak. And it makes people question the fact whether, because like you said, he sells books. He sells books. I mean, he sells a few books on Amazon for like $12, but then he's got these other books which are full of content, really powerful stuff, and he sells for like $800. $300, $500, depending on. These are just print books, and like $800 for a print book. But it says on his sales page, there's no refunds. So you look at it and you think, well, I'm not going to buy it then. And that's what I kind of like is you are limiting the amount of people who are buying your product. It also means that you're limiting the amount of refunds you've got. And hopefully you're limiting the amount of people who are going to spend money and do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's one of those, but you do have those people. But generally speaking, it is when you do spend some money, and the more it goes up, the higher the value it is, the more that you spend, the more you are going to be gutted if you don't do anything with it or determined to make it work. It's like I've mentioned before, there's times where people have bought a book off me, which I did it was just a cheap book, £2.99. What's that in dollars? Probably about $3.25 or something ridiculous. Probably not even $4. And there are two people out of everyone who bought it. Two people asked for a refund, and it was a PDF ebook. So they get to keep the book and they want the money back. And you think, if you're going to claim £2.99 back, there is no way that I'm going to sell you a product. We're thinking of doing
remove them off the list. See you later.
Yeah, we're thinking of doing a mentoring course, which could be somewhere around $3,000. And there's no way that I would be sending them an email asking if they'd be interested, because you just know if you want a refund on a £2.99 book, there is absolutely no way that you're going to A, buy it, and B, if you do, you're not going to. I don't know. It's. Yes, there is. People are different. People are strange, but generally, and that is, I do believe that people who made the decision to spend a certain amount of money, anything like you say, top end of 500, generally are going to put the work in or do something, even if it's hire somebody else. Or, I mean, going back to what you were saying there about pricing, you've got that book on Amazon for like £6. You've written the book, you've shown the book. It's the top value of that is probably going to be 6 to 12 quid. With the information in there, it's very life changing, but it's not groundbreaking. However, if somebody came to you and said, "I like that book, John, that was really good. You got it published on Amazon, you got a print copy. How do you do that?" And you say, "Well, I can actually show you that if you want. I'll show you everything you need to do, but I'll be charging between £500 to £1,000." To them, that's actually going to be worth more. It's worth more than buying the book, because you're now actually teaching them a serious set of skills which could be life changing.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's just it. Yeah, that is it. Okay, well that's I think we'll sort of leave it on that note. Actually, we won't leave it on that note. One thing we will just quickly add in there, we've mentioned a fair bit about community and groups on this podcast. So what better way to sort of just crowbar our own in there? It's very new. So depending on when you're listening to this podcast, you will be one of the early trendsetters if you get in now, which is good because that means you get more interaction and everything's, because it's new and fresh. So we have got our own little Facebook group, completely free. So we'll drop the link in below. Anyone that's interested in anything that we've ever talked about, then you should almost certainly go over there and join. So we'll be spending a bit more time in there now. So that's going to be part of our, definitely part of our sort of thing going on in the future.
Can I just add quickly as well? There'll probably be some bonus exclusive sort of videos. I did one the other day.
There's loads of exclusive stuff going to be shown in there. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah. All right then. Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up there. So good chat, and thanks very much, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Freedom Hustles podcast. We hope you found inspiration and insights to help fuel your journey towards freedom. Don't forget to join our free newsletter at freedomskillsacademy.com/newsletter, where you can find exclusive tips, updates, and resources to help elevate your hustle. Until next time, keep hustling towards your dreams.